This Friday, February 14th, will mark 7 years since the Parkland shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. 17 innocent lives, 14 students and 3 staff were needlessly taken, devastating the families and the community. What emerged in the wake of the tragedy, though, was nothing short of inspiring. A student-led movement to combat the plague of school shootings in our country that helped lead to the passage of the most comprehensive federal gun legislation in 30 years under President Joe Biden. Now, with the president back in office, who appears intent on undoing any and all progress, even the popular things, that has been made on gun safety, the voices of those impacted by tragedies like Parkland are more important than ever. Joining our conversation is our dear friend, our fearless advocate of gun safety, Fred Guttenberg. His daughter Jamie was murdered 7 years ago in the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Also joining us, the president of Brady United Against Gun Violence, the nation's oldest gun violence prevention group, Chris Brown. Fred, how are you doing? I miss you. Our viewers miss you. How are you?
When we last spoke, I had made a decision to step away. Talking about this as regularly as I was hard. And I'm committed to that with a few exceptions. You know, my wife and I today, to get to your question, we're looking for pictures of Jamie that capture Jamie that we could share throughout this week, being that it's 7 years. And everything is stuff we've shared. Imagine not having any new photos to share. No new memories, no new ways to show the world who Jamie was. That was hard for us today, to be quite honest. We want to share with the world the work we're doing for our foundation, Orange Ribbons for Jamie, and our Paws of Love program, because that's what our life is committed to now, helping survivors of gun violence. But we can't find new pictures of Jamie. And, you know, listen, the work that I've done the past 7 years is to save families from sitting around realizing they can't find new pictures. It's why I am so committed to my friend Chris Brown and her organization Brady and the work that they do. And I plan on continuing to work with them. Nicole, our country's at a turning point. I would make an argument that even though it's bloodless at the moment, we're actually undergoing a terror attack on the country and our institutions. But it's going to be institutions like Brady that are going to lead us forward. And so I'm struggling this week, as I always do this week. But you know me, we're going to power forward.
You always let us struggle with you, and that is the gift of you. Chris, what is it like to have Fred's sort of movement and the power of Fred's sharing every picture he possesses of the daughter he lost as part of this movement? How does that help you change hearts and minds and laws?
In every material way, Nicole. Obviously, I'm a mom. I know you're a mom. We have moms and dads all over this country who don't have to imagine hard what it is to walk in Fred's shoes. I hear from parents all across the country who are terrified to drop their kids at school and are terrified of getting that call that there is a shooting at their school. And we don't have to live this way. And I think Fred and his wife, Jen, and so many in the movement, Jim and Sarah Brady, our founders, have suffered the worst. They've been shot. They've lost families to gun violence, and they don't want anyone else to suffer. And that is a result that many people come to after being shot, after surviving. That's what Jim and Sarah did. Fred is an inspiration to us, and he really drives home the point that this is something all Americans want. This is not a controversial issue. Mm-hmm. And so much that we've been able to do with Fred's voice works and has saved lives. We have a 50% reduction in violent crime. That's not an accident. And I'm so glad that he's with us to continue to message why this is so important and non-controversial.
Fred, when you we put up the pictures, and I have seen, I've seen all the pictures of her dancing, and I take your point about the pictures, but you have, I think on this occasion, shared new stories. And are there any stories that you're thinking about, especially as you step away from politics, but don't want the work and the mission to relent?
You know what? The new stories I want to share really are just reminding people of what a happy, amazing kid Jamie was. I don't want people, when they think of Jamie, to think about what happened to her. I want people to know my daughter loved life. My daughter was obsessed with her dogs. She loved her family. And she had a life plan. My daughter knew exactly where she was going to go to college. You know, she was going to be a Gator, go to University of Florida. She knew she was going to get married. She knew she was going to have 2 kids, and she was robbed of all of that. But I want people to know her real life story, because in spite of what's happening in this country in this moment, we all have people who we love, and it's worth fighting for our safety. And so, Nicole, I know you and I have spoken in the past week about trying to make this segment with Chris and I a regular thing, you know, monthly or so, because while that guy in the White House shreds our institutions, it's really going to be important to remind America of the goodness that exists and of the work that we're capable of doing.
And of the things we all agree on. Lots of the specific measures have 70, 73, 85% support from all Americans. Fred, we will be thinking of you and your wife and your son and your daughter, Jamie, this week. We send all of our love to all of you. Chris Brown, thank you. To be continued for all of us. Thank you. Another break for us. We'll be right back.